to never complain about injustice, but do something about it. Do something about it.
Young gun, no one that back calling me splurge. Ride me jump right off the curb. Make this right fly like a bird. Spin on the first and the third. Solid, I'm keeping my word. Can't be my equal, I don't know what you heard. Crank up the foreign, I swerve. Keep me a stick if they purge.
A temporary parks employee is charged with murder as a hate crime in Brooklyn. 23-year-old Elijah Mitchell of Corona, Queens is accused in the shooting death of a migrant. The district attorney says the victim was shot to death inside Steuben Playground in Bed-Stuy, July 21st. Investigators say the migrant from Venezuela had been sleeping in the park and the two had argued a few days earlier.
New York City park worker does the unthinkable to a migrant. Here's what he had to say about it afterwards. This is coming from theroot.com. All right, a New York City Parks Department employee is in major trouble after authorities accused him of going on a fatal fit of rage toward a group of Venezuelan migrants. As of August, over 200,000 migrants are reported to have arrived in New York City from South America, majority of them being refugees who fled from Venezuela upon the rise in crime and political chaos, per the New York Times. Unfortunately, with the city's overpopulation and unlivable wages, many of these migrants are taking shelter in the subways or under scaffolding. However, when 23-year-old Elijah Mitchell showed up to clean the Steuben Playground off the Brooklyn Queens Expressway on July 18th, he encountered a group of migrants who set up shelter there in tents. Per the New York Post, police said Mitchell grew enraged and began yelling at the migrants. One of them confronted Mitchell and the two began arguing. Police said the spout resulted in Mitchell going to his car and coming back to the scene to flash his gun. Luckily, Mitchell's co-workers pulled him away before he pulled the trigger, police said. However, 3 days later, police say Mitchell returned to the park in the evening to get his lick back. Prosecutors say he went up to the Venezuelan man he'd argued with and shot him multiple times. The victim was pronounced dead at Brooklyn Methodist Hospital. Mitchell was indicted on charges of second-degree murder as a hate crime, second-degree murder, criminal possession of a weapon, menacing as a hate crime, and menacing. He pleaded not guilty during a court hearing Wednesday and was held on bail of $350,000 cash or $2.5 million bonds. He is due back in court on October 23rd. Mitchell was suspended from the Parks Department on July 30th. The Post reports that Mitchell told detectives the migrants were aggressive toward him, threatening him with weapons. However, upon his arrest, he went on an offensive anti-migrant tirade to detectives, exposing why he really had beef with them. I don't have time to let a migrant F up what I got going on in my life, he said, according to court documents. The government let them come in here and they get $1,500 a month. They get free money a month. You work for your money, right? Y'all were born here. This is y'all country. This is our country. I don't even know where to begin. As a native New Yorker, this is very baffling to me. And also as a former JPW, see, I don't know about the JPWs for the Parks Department. That's a New York thing. I don't know if other cities and states do this, but New York City, when you apply for HRA, Human Resources Administration, or some of you guys know it as welfare, I continuously tell you, welfare is work fair. You cannot maintain your benefits if you are not actively seeking employment. And when you are applying for public assistance or welfare, meaning you need cash assistance, they gonna press your ass to get a job. And the job that comes up that directly ties into HRA or the Human Resources Administration in New York City is the Parks Department. They offer a temporary or seasonal position for people who are transitioning from public assistance. Keyword, transitioning from, because they are not setting you up to be on public assistance forever. They may help you with your rent. They may help you with a voucher, right? Section 8, we have city FEPs out here. They may help you with SNAP benefits, which is food stamps. But actual cash, the government is not trying to do. So what they do is they push you into these temporary positions. It's 6 months. And as you're working, you're actively seeking employment. I've done it several times. I've worked for the parks. I have cleaned these city parks. I have cleaned people's dog shit. I have cleaned piss from the toilets. I have cleaned leaves and snow. Yes, I did. And you get a paycheck as well as your benefits. Now, when the position is over, they try to tell you can apply as a CPW, city park worker, who is a permanent Parks Department worker. And the JPWs work under them. So they're getting free labor. It's just like how the sharecroppers had their the head slave in charge. The CPWs are the head slaves, and they come and get other slaves to slave for them. All right. Now, this gentleman, I can resonate with his pain, because they tell you when you work for parks, you got to keep that park clean. You have to literally remove all trash. You have to make sure the bathrooms are clean, the perimeter is clean throughout your shift. It doesn't stop. Any pieces of trash, they have the CPWs, or what you call it, the house Negro, to come around and make sure that the other Negroes are in line. So this gentleman was probably wanting to get a permanent position because they gas you up to make you think you're going to get a permanent position with the parks. And so you try to do the best job you can. And you seeing migrants putting up tents in a park would piss you off being a parks worker. Let's keep it a buck. Because your job is to keep the park clean. We were supposed to run down on people and make sure they was not doing stupidness in the park. Don't be coming in the park having your dogs running through the sprinklers with the kids, boo-booing all around the park. No. We as park workers, or I'm a former park, look, I'm getting excited. I'm not a park worker no more. But when I was one, I did a lot. It's a hard job. I'm not saying take anyone's life because they're not abiding by the park rules now. But I can feel this brother's pain. Being a native New Yorker and witnessing these migrants getting all of these resources that they make it hard for us to get. Didn't I just tell y'all it's workfare for us? But they get to come in and do nothing and just lamp around. Now, I'm not saying migrants don't want to work. I'm not saying that. But you can't just automatically come in and work. There's a process to your immigration status. You have to be working towards getting a temporary visa or your green card. Are you staying here permanently? Like, what's going on? Do you have ID? Do you have a work permit? Like, what's going on? So again, do you see the twofold in this? On one hand, I'm thinking they brought the migrants over here to just commit crimes and fill up the jails and have the court officers and the judges and the lawyers having something to do because they done locked everybody up. They ran out of criminals. But no, they didn't run out of criminals because now they're putting native New Yorkers in a position to have to defend themselves. And now he's the criminal and the migrant is gone. Look at that. The migrant is gone and now they have another case added to their repertoire. I'm so sick of New York City. Get me the F out of here. What they need to be doing, since they want to put out money for migrants who don't belong here, they need to pay native New Yorkers for us to leave. Give us a stipend so we can go start a life somewhere else. Since the migrants are so much more important than native New Yorkers, pay us to get the F out of here. That's my thoughts for now. I'll be back with more commentary on how politics is BS. These elections are BS. All these people, oh, I'm voting for Kamala. What are you voting for? Because as you can see, she was already the vice president and wasn't doing anything. So you think that something magically happened with her being the president? No. Focus on your local politicians and let's get at their necks. Because I know I am.